Okay, this is Jay Hawkscott, and today I'm going to talk about plumbing and working with PVC. I'm getting ready to redo all the plumbing underneath of my tank to run the water down to my garage. The lines from the garage are already run to my tank location, so I don't have to do anything with those. Those come in right back here. You can see them. One's a drain line, one's a return line. They're 1-inch lines. If I had to do it over again, I would have a bigger return line. I'd probably do 1.5 inches. Just because the line coming up, since it's pressurized, it will handle more water flow than the same size line on a gravity feed. So if I had to do that again, like I said, I would go larger on the return line. So I would use that. Keep that in mind when you're planning your own. When it comes to working with PVC, there are a couple of things that you've got to have. You've got to have PVC glue. You've got to have some way to cut the PVC. And there are a couple of different ways you can go with that. You can go with a hacksaw, which I wouldn't recommend. It works okay if you have to be able to cut PVC out, but it doesn't make the straightest of cuts, and it makes kind of a mess, so I would steer clear of that. If I want to make the cleanest cuts on my PVC, I actually use a miter saw. It makes a nice clean cut, but if you're wanting to work with, the easiest way to do it in some ways is to use one of these hand tools. These are the Cobalt PVC pipe cutters. The smaller one I've had in the past, but as you can see, the blades nicked up and banged up, and so anyways, I ended up buying over the past couple of years. I bought a couple of those different pipe cutters, different brands and all that stuff. Today I bought a bigger model that handles up to 1.5 inch pipe. Now I won't be dealing with anything over 1 inch, but these are a little bit more robust, and but they do seem to make the cuts, especially in the 1-inch PVC pipe, a lot easier than did the little ones. You just get more, because they're bigger, you get more leverage. So the price difference between the two was, I think, about $5 or so. So if you're gonna buy one, I'd probably recommend getting the bigger ones. Next thing you got to deal with is, when we talk about glue, there's a glue and then there's a primer, a cleaner, and I would suggest getting a clear cleaner. And so, because a lot of times most of the cleaners out there, the most common one is purple, and I've used the purple in the past, and I used it on my saltwater mixing station, and the purple, after you clean the pipe, the purple stuck to the PVC, and so you've got this white PVC pipe with purple cleaner all over it, and it looks like crap. So if you want it to look better, get the clear cleaner, and then just regular all-purpose cement will be fine. Says, just make sure it says for PVC. So like here it says CPVC, PVC, and the CPVC I believe is for like hot water and stuff, and so, and you can't really mix the two because the sizes are different. A 1-inch PVC and a 1-inch CPVC is they're measured differently. So that's kind of it. Here you've got one of the things I've got here is a union valve, and you can see that it's got the union to it and then the valve. I'm going to put this on my line coming up from the garage, and so I can control the amount of flow going into the tank from here. If I want to turn it down a little bit, I can turn it down a little bit. I'm also going to be using gate valves. These are the gate valves that I'm going to use. I got these from Bulk Resupply. These are not cheap. The reason I've spent a lot of money on these is with a gate valve, you can adjust it much more precisely. As you see, I keep turning it, and the gate valve slowly opens, where the shutoff valve, I mean, there's definitely adjustment there, but it's not easy to make small, minute adjustments. And with the gate valves, I'm going to use that on my primary Durso overflows so that I can really set the water level in those overflows precisely. So I went ahead and spent the money. I've got 2 of those, 1 for each overflow, and then just the 1 for the return. So another thing that when you're getting ready to do all your PVC stuff, and I'm sure that, like most everybody else out there, I have been guilty of measuring once, gluing, and putting it all together, and then you're like, oh crap, I messed up. The best thing you can do is to piece it all together without gluing first. Once you have it all pieced together and it works, and it's how you want it, and it's nice and clean, then go ahead and start using the cleaner and the glue and gluing it all together. Because once you glue it together, that's it. You can't. The only option is to cut out the piece and start replacing stuff. And you know, if I glue this and this isn't right, I mean, I can put a union on there or a coupling and you know, kind of fix it, but it'll look like crap. And you know, this is for a 1-inch union like that with the shutoff valve, that was about a $10 item. So definitely, you know, measure, put it all together, make sure it works, and then take it all back apart, glue it, put it together finally. So okay, well, I'm going to start my process here, and I'll kind of take some videos as I go along and point out what I'm doing. Okay, here I'm going to show you how to glue the PVC together. What I've got here is I've got a 1-inch T-fitting, and I need to reduce that to 3/4 inch, and so I've got some bushings to reduce that, and they just slide in the ends here, and then the 3/4 inch will fit in there. So there's no real measuring to be done on this. I know I have to do this. So the first thing you do, fuck. Okay, let's try this again. Why don't you have a tool where you can open these things, because these things are pretty tight. So yourself a good pair of pliers and then open them up. Alright. Now just take the cleaner. The cleaner's real runny. It's watery. The glue looks more like a rubber cement, but as you see, the cleaner takes the UPC code right off of the piece. And now you have to make sure that you do inside all pieces. So get it all on there, and you will drip everywhere with this. So make sure you're doing this on a towel or something. Don't do it on your wife's carpet, because you'll never hear the end of it. Not that I've ever done that before, but all right. So those are all clean. Oh, and by the way, if you have an open cut on your hand like that, that cleaner feels really good. Okay, so here's the glue. Now, I'm not putting anything in here, but it is cleaned already. These pieces are going in the end, because this will be at the top of my tank. I'll show you that later, but here's the glue. You can kind of see it's kind of a yellowish, more kind of a pasty. And just put a good amount of glue on there, and then push it in there. And if you can, turn it a little bit. Alright, and got a little extra glue on there, and so just having a little glue at the top like that is okay. You don't want it running down the side, but so there's one side. I wouldn't say you can't use too much glue, but you definitely want to make sure you have enough glue. Okay, see, that side went in a lot easier. See how that... Alright, so like I said, you will drip glue And just be prepared that the towel or whatever you use is essentially going to be ruined when you're done with it. So, and that's it. That's how you glue PVC together.